Eric Trump just tweeted about GameStop saying American Bitcoin keeps climbing, two more down, next GameStop. Right around the corner, we have GameStop earnings coming in the week ahead. This video is probably going to take a while because we got to talk about SPY, crypto, the PCE data that came out, and what is going on with GameStop. So watch until the end of the video, like the video, subscribe to the channel, turn post notifications on. Without further ado, let's get into the video. First of all, this is huge. We had the White House post about GameStop. Now we have Eric Trump posting about GameStop. But let's take a deeper look and a deeper dive into the charts. I actually wanted to bring up something right here that I actually forgot to throw into the video. And it was basically what I posted yesterday about the charts on GameStop. One beautiful gamma ramp being formed, especially if we close above $23, and then if we close above 24, and then if we close above 25, so on and so on and so on, which is the same gamma ramp we saw when we ran to $38. Now, I had a couple of possibilities in the chart. One of them looked like this, and the other basically just shows the same move, but basically the bigger picture of it, indicating that we would squeeze higher, and right around this tripwire above 38, like we talked about, we would squeeze. So what is this? Why do I have this on the chart? Basically, this shows GameStop pulling back to 2110, or possibly a slightly different pullback, which would be 2246. Now, I do actually have some good news. Are we going to see this pullback? Well, in fact, we are already seeing this pullback, and that was as soon as we broke this trend line. We have been continuing down, which is basically what I had drawn out. You break this trend line, you will be continuing down. Now, there is some good news, there is some bad news. First of all, what are we looking at here? We are looking at a descending resistance level that we just got rejected off of, which isn't too good. And you can see the first time this formed was this wick up here back on June 3rd, and then we had multiple rejections, rejection here, and all of these led to a hard sell-off, rejection, and then rejection. Now we're here, just got rejected. Are we going to go to the bottom of this wedge? Well, it's a possibility, but I believe it is unlikely. Why have we rejected off of this trend line, but have never broken this support, this floor down here at about $19.50? You can see back here, we built support. Well, now we only tested it and immediately got an aggressive bounce. And the more you test something, the more likely it is to break, except this is much stronger than this descending resistance that have rejection points. So the more you test this rejection, I believe we are going to get a big breakout, and we are on the verge of that big breakout. There's a couple of reasons why. One is that a lot of $20 puts were just sold, especially before today being December 5th, which is when Roaring Kitty posted his Time magazine post last year, December 5th. That is all for another video or more. Tin, is he going to tweet tonight? I don't know. But point is that a lot of these calls were sold at $20. Where did we just wick down to? $20. We're not going to break that level, in my opinion, because GameStop is likely, and investors know this, big money knows this, to be able to buy back the entire float now at this floor. And this floor is going to continue to raise, especially if what they're doing will be profitable. And just like Eric Trump said, GameStop is next, adding to its Bitcoin reserves and becoming the next big micro strategy or whatever. Again, GameStop has its own strategy, as Ryan Cohen said, its unique strategy, and not if, but when the market sells off and gives good prices, GameStop will buy back in. So ultimately, what are we looking at as far as the sell-off goes? Guys, again, this is still very bullish. All this is telling us is get ready for a small little retracement before a bigger move higher. Now, this is the aggressive retracement, or this retracement would end somewhere around 2245. So 2245 to 2110, you can write on your chart as the possible retracement zone before we rally and squeeze higher. And that is essentially what I have on my chart right now. Japan government bonds 10-year yield is still very high, going parabolic, still up today to 1.951%. And the Bank of Japan warns there is uncertainty on how far the central bank could raise interest rates due to the difficulty. This is pure genius, because now they're saying we don't know how much we're going to raise rates, but they're not saying they're not going to. They're just saying we don't even know how far we're going to raise rates, because this is rough. So anyone who has positions that will be possibly affected has major uncertainty lying on their shoulders that if I was in their situation, I would want to offload. What would that offload look like? That would affect assets like cryptocurrency first, and then big tech. And we'll talk about the market in a second because it seems like the market is just continuously going up, remaining resilient. JP Morgan just bought more GameStop shares. JP Morgan Chase increased its stake in GameStop by 28.3%. AMC, still not much to talk about here. I'm not abandoning AMC. It's building out a beautiful cup and handle, setting up for next week. Very excited about that. Plus, Webull is reporting 55% of AMC held by institutions. NASDAQ says 52%. A lot of these numbers are off. They can be off by a little bit, but it would be very surprising to me that retail doesn't own more than 50% or more than 100% of these floats. So we know the floats are likely sold time and time again. Now, Citadel wrote a letter December 2nd to the SEC. I think this is kind of funny because they're talking about tokenized securities, and what they basically say is, listen, we're cool with tokenization, but don't let it restructure market mechanics and market rules. We need to protect investors. And they're only saying that because they want to remain and hold their stance into all of the loopholes that they have and everything they control, to quote unquote claim that they protect investors, but yet they make a ton of money and do things that should be transparent, but if they were transparent would get them in trouble. Unity is something that I wanted to bring up. It's at 46.05, trading up 4.3%. Why am I randomly bringing up Unity? First of all, it's been climbing, but on the weekly time frame, I said this a while back, expect a rejection on the top of this channel. And we did get that rejection in September, and we actually retraced to the top of this channel, held it, and now we're breaking back out, which is very, 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 very bullish for Unity, seeing that we didn't reject and break back into this channel for a long-term downtrend, and we actually broke up, and now we're breaking for a longer-term possible uptrend. Unity could have a possible breakout in the near future, and this also correlates with GameStop and AMC because their charts play a very, very similar story. So keep this one on your radar, along with BBBY up 3%. I believe it looks pretty good here, building out a little bit of a floor, and I think that BBBY will have a rally along with these ones. Speaking of rallies and short squeezes, up 144% today, trading at $350. This was alerted to the Discord down here at 35 bucks. And if you were watching my channel on this day, Friday, November 28th, I talked about the stock. I talked about how you could have grabbed it here during the Discord alert. Since then, it's been up almost 1,200%. Shout out everyone who traded this. But again, you never know how high this is going to go. I didn't follow up with this one. You never know how high it's going to go. The point being is that the stocks that we get on our radar and put on our radar are ones we can siphon through day in and day out. So anything dropped in the short squeeze tab or the stock talk tab or whatever are ones that you can siphon through and scan through and see which ones are gaining momentum or volatility on a given day. And you would have seen this one yesterday on Thursday begin gaining moves. BYND, also keep an eye. If we break back above $1.36, I'm going to be watching this one pretty closely. Let's talk about the SPY, crypto, everything alongside all of the fun stuff. September PCE inflation came in, the Fed's preferred inflation measure, rising to 2.8%, which is exactly in line with expectations. Core PCE inflation fell to 2.8%, below the 2.9% expectation. Headline PCE is at its highest since October 2023. Now, the market interpreted this as good. Again, in my opinion, the data we're getting, quote unquote, the quote unquote good data, bad data being good data, it's bad data that is good for devaluing the dollar, pumping more liquidity. Overall, not showing that we are in a strong economy. Silver, gold still rising, safe haven assets, right? There's a lot going on behind the scenes, and it looks more and more like we are going to see some sort of depegging of currency or some sort of transition, which could be very good for crypto, could change the 4-year cycle, could be very, very good for equities, but also there's that uncertainty. And I think that this chart paints the perfect picture of that, and it's the MACD. The MACD and the RSI. The MACD last week, it got a death cross, or a cross to the downside, I should say, and this week, if you take a very close look, it is attempting today to recross back over, but it looks like it is about to possibly get this rejection point. This is a key signal this week, this Friday, that the market is going to have a huge decision, and next week is going to decide everything. Next week will decide everything. Next week is the week of the Fed meeting. It is the week of GameStop earnings. It is the week of everything. Except Japan interest rate decision. I believe that is the 18th or 19th of December. But it is the week where our momentum indicators pick a direction for the markets. It is a week where the data the markets needs is going to come out. And it is also just a spot where we could see possible rejections, flushes down, bad news, or the market continue to squeeze higher. And that's exactly what the market is doing. This is short sellers getting ripped out of their positions, and the stock market is squeezing higher. From a psychological perspective, there are a couple of resistance levels that you want to watch. First of all, we came into this resistance zone yesterday and we got a hard rejection. Now we are pumping into it at 688. If we close above 686, SPY is bullish. That's pretty simple. If we close above 686, SPY is bullish. You can't really have a perma bear stance on this one. There are a couple other things to watch or to see, and it's that we got this candle back here, which led to a hard crash to the downside. We got the same candle right here, which led to a hard crash to the downside. We got the same candle yesterday, which didn't lead to a hard crash. In fact, we actually opened above it, which is the most bullish thing we could have seen today. And that's exactly why if you close back above this level at 686, that will remain bullish for these markets. As far as levels to watch, first of all, you always have this psychological level, which is 688.75. Okay, 688.75. It's right around that all-time high. And then you have this level, which we're battling right now, 687.50. So you have this small range, which is right at our peak of our resistance and a sell block right before the SPY hits an all-time high. You close above 686, it's more and more likely that we see a $700 SPY coming into the Fed meeting and everything squeezes higher, including major risk on assets like cryptocurrency. But all of this is going against each other in that the carry trade unwind being something that is likely to take place, yet the market is squeezing higher. We are in one of the craziest markets that you could possibly be trading right now. And it's very interesting. The thing you can take out of this is, if you're a GameStop investor or an AMC investor or a short squeeze investor, is that the whipsaw, the volatility in the markets are what triggers things to break. It's pretty simple. As soon as there's an imbalance, positions will forcefully be closed, or temporary collaterals will go up, which will forcefully unwind positions, send out margin calls. The volatility in the markets are exactly the environment you want to be in for a play like this, for a play like GameStop to go back towards its $500 level, right? Or post-split 120, whatever it is, right? But that's basically what I got for you guys for today's video. Bitcoin is still playing out this pattern, and it is still holding for now. It's kind of in the same space as the SPY. It's on this teeter-totter, and you can see where we highlighted right here. It could be the entrance. It could be the entrance of something that takes place like this and pushes us higher, right? Could be the same exact thing where Bitcoin takes the reins right here and heads towards 130 plus thousand. And then if that is the case, we also get GameStop reporting earnings. We need to break out of this descending resistance, and then we also need to break above the tripwire levels. GameStop has a lot of room to go to do that. But that is it, guys. I love you all. Enjoy the rest of your day. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed. Join the Discord. It's the top link in the description of the video. And then get my custom indicator if you don't have it yet. You can get it for 7 days for free. Go try it out. I love you all. God bless. Lottery Stocks out.